We got Fantastic Four teaser. It begins from Emergency Awesome. But Marvel time is coming up, bro. Starting to get hyped. But that was tough.
Welcome back, everyone. It's launch time. Marvel dropped a brand new Fantastic Four teaser,
Bro,
basically
that's how
to
you do a
celebrate the
teaser, bro.
launch of the Fantastic Four into outer space in the context of the movie, like they're about to go get their powers. But also, they want to celebrate the launch of the movie, and they're releasing even more footage tomorrow. So, of course, we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. It is just the beginning. Of
Subscribe
course,
to
there's
me
all the
too.
questions about Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom and what he is doing in this movie, how they set up Avengers 5. So we'll address that in the video too.
Bro, I need that
Most of
Magneto
this
helmet,
clip is
bro.
just focused on the actual origin of this version of the Fantastic Four in their universe. Because as you notice in the trailer, starting at the beginning of the footage here, everything looks like it's 1960s
60s
period
cab.
because this is meant to take place in an
I
alternate
like it,
universe.
bro.
It's
That
not
shit
the
was tough.
MCU of another universe that's in the 1960s. They released a teaser last year that makes it seem based on this Life magazine cover, which is actually from real life. It's based on a real life cover with Lyndon B. Johnson after he took office after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. So it sounds like the movie takes place right after Kennedy is assassinated at some point or sometime early in that next year. And what's going on in the teaser here is you see a bunch of kids in the street in the New York City area running through the street past these cars here. Notice one of the cars they run past here, one of these trucks, has the same color scheme, the blue and white of the Fantastic Four spacesuits,
Little
which
Easter
will
egg.
eventually become the colors of their comic book costumes too. Little bit of eye winking and Easter eggs going on in this trailer already. Can't quite read the license plates because the
Bro, that
footage is
shit's
so blurry as
exciting,
the
bro.
kids are running past it, but usually license plates in Marvel movies wind up being comic book Easter eggs to specific comic books. We get a little of the Fantastic Four theme music. This does sound like it's going to be original music featured in the actual movie itself. They released the full track a while ago back at Comic Con last year. I can't put the whole thing in the video just for copyright reasons, but they have released the Fantastic Four theme song already. They rush up to the
Bro,
electronics store window to look at all
that
the
shit's gonna
TVs
be
that are broadcasting
amazing.
this
Hopefully.
version of Fantastic Four as they're about to launch into space on exploration, about to get their powers, it seems like. Feige did say that the Fantastic Four movie isn't meant to retell their origin story, but it does sound like they'll brush past it pretty quickly at the beginning of the movie. Like they'll explain their origin, but for the most part, they'll already have their powers when the movie gets going. Because we just saw Chris Evans come back as his Johnny Storm from his Fantastic Four movies, for comparison to that Fantastic Four first movie, their origin story took up like a good chunk at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that
Imagine
it
a
took a
much,
while to
much
get
quicker
to it.
speedrun version of that. There are a couple big Easter eggs in all the different trailers here, too. The funny thing, you might have noticed this, is they're actually using the Comic Con trailer and it's playing the footage of the Comic Con trailer in all these different TVs here. My assumption is that the different footage they release tomorrow will actually just be a shiny HD version of that Comic Con trailer with some new footage mixed into it. So if you did see the Comic Con trailer back at Comic Con, legit, like you were actually at Comic Con, or you saw one of the janky potato quality versions online, I did a couple videos about that, you'll probably recognize a lot of the stuff that's happening in the longer trailer footage. Just starting at the top and going left to right. So in the top left, this is actually their spaceship. I don't know what they're going to be calling it in the context of the movie. It'll probably have its
Are they
own
gonna be
name,
with
but the launch
with
pad is
Victor
right
or
across from the
nah?
Baxter building up
I
in this
doubt it.
part of New York. Notice that the launch pad is called the Excelsior launch pad too. So both Baxter building and Excelsior launch pad, which is a huge Stan Lee Easter egg in real life. Stan Lee used Excelsior as his catchphrase for most of his life in comics.
Excelsior.
Marvel
Mm,
literally released a 2025
we're gonna miss
2026
some
Things That Are Coming
cameos.
trailer with him shouting it out. Within the context of the movie, they're also probably using it as a bit of a wink at the New York State motto, which is Excelsior. It just generally means ever upward. But in the footage, you can see their spaceship launching into space. I believe this is meant to be the first time that they're going into space and they're about to get their powers in the cosmic storm. In the middle, they show their logo as it's going to appear in the MCU eventually. Like, this will be their logo in all the Marvel movies coming up. prepare launch is basically just prepare for their spaceship to launch in the context of the movie, but also prepare for all the trailers to start dropping
Father
too.
Reed
In the
Richards.
upper right TV, this is actually meant to be Johnny Storm putting on his spacesuit about to go on this mission that we're seeing them fly up in the spaceship.
That last voice you just heard is my baby brother, Jonathan Storm. And ladies, he is very single.
There's a little bit of trailer footage
Mm.
where you actually see the banter between the team. Like, this is Ben Grimm before he becomes the Thing, talking to Reed Richards. They're all kind of joking with each other, getting hyped up about going on their mission. They basically want to show you how they were a family before they went into space. So, like, they're Marvel's first family in the context of the comics, but they were also a family in the context of the story before they ever became
Hey, they
actual
better
superpower beings.
not fumble
Technically,
Invisible
their
Woman,
origin
bruh.
makes them mutates, not mutant, even though their DNA is mutated. Mutates are people that get their DNA mutated after they're born. Mutants are people that are born with their powers in the X gene that eventually manifests. Way down in the
Basically the
left
same,
corner, you
I
can
guess.
actually see the Fantastic car driving through the streets of New York City, not flying, but you do see it flying during other parts of this Comic-Con trailer they released, which they're basically playing in all these different monitors here. Way over on the bottom right, even though the kids' heads are blocking some of it, you can actually see the top of the Baxter building here. This is part of this trailer scene with them walking away from the Baxter building. They're walking out of the Baxter building in their spacesuits toward their shuttle to blast off and go into space and get their powers. There was a lot of speculation after they dropped the
Fantastic
Comic-Con trailer
science.
because it looked kind of like a in-universe highlight reel, like a
Fantastic.
promo reel that Marvel would release, like, hey, look at this movie we have coming up. But the way they shot it, the way the characters were bantering, the way that it was edited, made it feel like it was meant to be an in-universe highlight reel that whatever news station within this universe had was trying to show off the Fantastic Four and hype them up to the rest of the world in this universe. But in the context of the movie, like I said, it's in the 1960s, and they're going with a retro futurism vibe, where in this universe in the 1960s, Reed Richards comes along, smartest man alive, develops a clean energy source, because in this official art that Marvel released back at Comic-Con, you can actually see down this little island here, there's a clean energy facility. So when I say a lot of the vibes are retro futuristic, you have to imagine,
Hey,
like,
bro,
what
it
if
gotta
Tony
be.
Stark developed his arc reactor technology, but during the 1960s,
Back to the
and the
60s,
world
bro.
moved to that as their main energy source instead of burning fossil fuels. What would the world look like if Tony Stark, for instance, had come to power in the 1960s and become this leading person, basically jumping science forward many, many decades way earlier in the timeline? But then all of a sudden, they fly into space, they get caught in a cosmic storm, get a whole bunch of powers, and then all of a sudden, Franklin Richards is born. He's crazy OP, and it alerts Galactus. That brings Galactus to Earth, about
Bro,
to
is he gonna be
destroy
a
the
baby
entire
or
place
nah?
because he wants Franklin Richards. So one of the other biggest things about this movie is Franklin Richards. He's supposed to be born during the events of the movie. Like, you actually see Sue Storm in the behind-the-scenes footage holding a little baby here. That's meant to be Franklin Richards. If you've not read the comics, Franklin Richards, one of the most powerful people that they've ever introduced in the comics. He's so powerful that Galactus is afraid of him. He resurrected Galactus by absorbing the power from one of his other selves from the multiverse, from the timeline. So the whole idea
Gonna
that
be
they're introducing
OP.
him in the MCU, just in general, even though this is an alternate universe, they're coming to the MCU at the end of the movie, so everybody will be in the MCU shortly. He will be so crazy powerful. It'll be interesting to see how Marvel deals with the character without him breaking
Hey,
every
I'm with
story
it,
that he
bro.
appears in, or what he's going to be doing during the events of Avengers 5 or Avengers 6 Secret Wars. All because one of the major shifts at Marvel with Avengers 5 going from Kang Dynasty to Doomsday has basically been shifting it to more of a follow-up to Fantastic Four. So the Fantastic Four movie is like a direct lead-in to Avengers 5 Doomsday. They've already revealed that the Fantastic Four is a much bigger part of the story in Avengers 5 now. This also gets into the whole Robert Downey Jr.
They
Dr.
got
Doom
to.
of it all.
Cause
The way that
Dr.
Kevin Feige
Doom.
explained it, he's not meant to be an Iron Man variant. He's meant to be a version of Victor Von Doom from another universe, likely this Fantastic Four universe, but they haven't absolutely confirmed that. He's supposed to show up at the end of this movie, and it'll be the first time that they feature his Doctor Doom in
Bruh,
live
the
action.
crowd,
But they didn't
the
say exactly what
he's
he's
gonna be crazy in the movies
Only
when
that
he
he'll show up
pull
in some
up.
sort of post-credit scene or like the very end, and I do not think that they're going to put him in any of the marketing at all.
They
Based on what
shouldn't, bro.
Marvel has said, what we know about the movie
Leave
so
it for the
far, my
post-credit
assumption
scene.
is that he was just born to Howard and Maria Stark. Maybe something happened to them, and then he was adopted by the Von Dooms and raised as Victor Von Doom in this universe. And that's why he's always been Victor Von Doom. He was never Tony Stark. just as a way to justify, in the context of the movie of Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, why he looks exactly like their friend that just died, Tony Stark. But he doesn't consider himself Tony Stark. He was never Tony Stark in his original universe.
Bro, them interactions
Based on
are
the
gonna be
plot descriptions of the
insane,
movie,
bro.
I think part of the idea is that their Fantastic Four universe gets tanked at the end of their movie. Like something happens, it gets destroyed, there's an incursion, RIP Fantastic Four universe, but they escape to the MCU, and Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom also escapes with them.
This equation not only confirms
Book it.
alternate dimensions,
I like it.
suggests that parallel Earths exist on
It's
different
good when
dimensional
villains win
planes.
sometimes.
Yeah, whatever the post-credit scene is for that movie, it'll basically be an Avengers 5 post-credit scene, kind of like Thor Ragnarok had an Avengers Infinity War post-credit scene that set at the very beginning of that movie. It'd just be the same situation with Fantastic Four.
We might get something
So
for
unless
the
somebody leaks
Captain
it, you're not gonna
America
see a picture of him as Dr.
in
Doom
the
until
Captain
you actually
America
go
movie.
physically
I
see
doubt
the
it,
movie.
but
But honestly, I think I speak for
in
everyone
the
when I say
post-credit
somebody
scene.
will eventually leak it, and we will eventually get a look at him as Doctor Doom. There's a whole bunch more footage and Easter eggs of the
I
footage
prefer
they
no
released back
leaks,
at
bro.
Comic-Con too. But everyone post all your reactions in the comments below. My video for that much bigger Fantastic Four trailer will post tomorrow after they release it at the Ask Crack of Dawn probably, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. And if Marvel
I
wants to
already got
slide their
that.
first look at that Robert Downey Jr. Doctor
Hey,
Doom, I
yo.
totally promise I will not tell everybody on the planet about it.
Bruh.
Everybody click here for that. I'll update the link.
But thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe.